So welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to remove the engine out of this Yamaha MT. So this Yamaha MT is also the same concept, sort of. Pretty much the same frame, chassis and auxiliaries and stuff as the Yamaha YZF R125 2008 to 2013, and then you've got the Gen 2 YZF, which is around 2014 to 2019, and then we've got the MT 125, which is around 2014 to 2019. There's a few crossover years, but yeah. So on here, the MT, we've got the scoops, which you don't have on the YZFs, but on the YZFs you've got the belly pan and then the boomerangs. So if you can take off the boomerangs on your own, then you'll be able to follow the steps of everything that I do here, which is pretty much the same as the YZFs. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is get straight on to showing you what stuff you're going to need, which is tool wise. So I'm going to put that in now. You're going to usually need a 4mm Allen key. This is for the MTs. The YZFs you don't have to. You're going to need a 5mm Allen key. You're going to need a 10mm socket. You're going to need a 13mm socket. Quarter-inch ratchet. Depending on whether it's got the correct bolts. So now that we've seen what tools that we're going to need, I'm going to be showing you guys what bits you're going to need to take off to remove the engine. So what we're going to be doing is taking off the tank. So take the cap off, take the scoops off, take the tank off. Well, this is the tank cover. To take the tank cover off, you obviously got to do the seat as well. Then you need to take this fairing off here. This is just quick, brief down low. If you want to know what to do quickly, and then skip ahead, then you've got to take the belly pan off, the gear shifter, this cover off, and the chain. So we've got a split pin on there, which is nice. And then you need to take the clutch bracket off, well, not the bracket, but the clutch cable out, and then undo this radiator bolt. Undo the hose too, there's a breather pipe here, and then we've also got two plugs that are actually there in that little boot to undo, and then the belly pan. So the customer's already started to take the belly pan off. This is the wrong way of taking the belly pan off. They've decided to split it up into pieces. I'm not quite sure, they must not have known really what they were doing. You just undo this bolt here, this bolt, and there's two more bolts on the back if yours hasn't broken. So this person's is broke. There's normally a piece here with two bolts, which it's all connected. It's very flimsy, you can see there it's just snapped. And then on the other side, you're going to be undoing this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt. And then the belly panel, you have to just pull it a tiny bit and it'll flex, and then it'll hoop around on both sides, so it will just come off. And then what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to get onto the exhaust and then all the other bits I've just mentioned, and then a lot more. So let's get straight into it now. Put the seat off. I'm going to undo the battery. So we're going to undo this nut and undo the other one on the other side of the studs. Now if yours are pretty rusty, you need to be very careful. So there should be a bit that just holds here, a clamp, that bolts through here, but this doesn't have it on. I'm just going to take this actual exhaust nut off now. So it seems like this has been tightened and compressed sideways, so it's a bit awkward to get it off. I'm going to have to tap the other side off, I think, or pop the stud off, which I don't really want to do. I'm going to have to rest that there. There we go, that's off. So the customer said that he's already drained the oil and he's seen metal fragments in it. I'm assuming if you're changing your engine, you've already done the same thing. What I'm going to do is remove this bracket too, and I'm going to remove this bottom bracket because it does get in the way of a 14 going on there. But I do have a spanner, so could get away with it. On yours, it's more than likely going to pull out this way when it's from the factory. I'm pretty certain of that. So we're going to take this mount off and this mount off. So far you would have took either your belly panel off, or yeah, and again on the YZF, the belly panel and the boomerang. So on this side, we're going to be undoing this, and then there should be two more here for you if you're on an MT. So now we're going to be going back to the 8mm. We've just been using a 4mm then. We're going to undo this earth strap. So after you've undone this earth strap, I always recommend just putting the bolt back in just briefly. So we're going to undo this bolt and this bolt to undo the starter motor. What you want to do is you want to undo it about 3/4 of the way out, so just a few spins afterwards. And the same again. And what I do is I just give it a little tap now, and then I go to the other bolt, give it a tap again, and what that does is pushes the starter out, the starter motor out. There's both them bolts. So we're going to be disconnecting the clutch cable. So I've just undone it. You have to take the tension off this side. So if you push it this way, then you can just loosen it like so, and then we're going to undo the back bit too. And usually you can just push it out of the bracket. Some of them, for some reason, you can't. So I'm going to undo this a bit more. We're going to see if we can just pop it out like so, which is not happening. So we're going to revert to the other way of doing it. So I'm going to zoom in now. So there is a little tab there. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift that tab up like so. And then after we've lifted the tab up, I'm going to put my hammer end just here. I'm going to push it off the chassis. And we're going to engage the clutch like that. And then you can just see how it's just popped out. So with it just popping out, and we're going to undo the rest of this, which if it popped out of here, oh it has now, then you don't have to take it all the way off. But if so, you'd have to take the nut off, slide it out, and then put the nut back on to keep it safe. And then now we have the neutral light switch, which is here. So that's that cable I've just undone. And then we're going to undo the gear shifter, which that is an 8mm on this, which it should actually be a 5mm Allen key. So we're going to give it a little wiggle and undo it. Sometimes they can be pretty stuck, so put a bit of WD-40 around it, which we'll get into the splines. You can also get a little flathead and just give it a little prise, and it'll take the clamp off and it'll come off nice and free. What we're going to do on this next stage is undo this bolt, and this bolt, which will leave this coolant tank free, and then we're going to pop this out, and then we're going to drain the tank into here. So now this is undone, I'm going to take this out. Oh, coolant went everywhere, all over my head, which wasn't good. Now I'm going to drain this into here. And then I'm going to undo these pipes, like so, and put this to one side. And now I'm going to put the bolts back in. So this chain is also just a touch too tight. There's quite a lot of tension in that. I have just advised them that you shouldn't be tightening it that tight. That is, look at that. Now we're going to undo this 10mm, and we're going to undo this 8mm and this 8mm here. And now this bracket's off. You don't really have to take this off the radiator, but I like to do it, a bit more access. Now that the opposite side is quite the way done, we're going to take this off this scoop. So we're going to undo this bolt. There is a bolt under here. This one, don't mistake it for this one here, closest one to the indicator, just here. And then we've got the top bolt as well. So I'm going to have to cover the VIN plaque, but yeah, just here. That's also on the inner bit of the scoop at the top. So this bolt needs to come out. I can't get the angle due to not being able to cover the VIN up the plaque. So if you can just undo that there. So now we need to take the side panel off the scoop. As we're doing this, we have to unclip this off too. This is the indicator cable. Now the scoop's off. So now that we've got access to the radiator cap, we're going to take the radiator cap off in a second, which is just here. But first we're going to undo this 10mm, which is here on the cylinder wall. So this is the coolant drain. You should have time now, so it shouldn't just piss out, which it is. Usually have a little bit of time. And then if you take the rad cap off, give it a nice bit of flow now. And we'll get all the coolant drained out. I'm just going to chuck this here. Now what I'm going to do is chuck the nut back on, the bolt back in. I'm just going to nip it up. There we go. So that is the majority of the coolant drained. And then what I'm going to do is put the rad cap back on the radiator.